Good morning. And it is. It's a beautiful morning. Yeah. We've been having some not as beautiful mornings. So I take this one. So my name is Dr. Kimberly McQuarrie, and I'm the Director of Education and the Co-Director of the Innovation Labs here at the Dalí Museum. And it is always one of my distinct pleasures to be able to welcome the really distinguished guest speakers that we're able to invite to the museum to discuss Dalí, surrealism, and topics related to our special exhibitions. And today I am going to be joined by not one, but two amazing guests. This is a BOGO, Coffee with the Curator. We have Emily Goot of the Florida Botanical Gardens and Beth Gelman of Creative Pinellas. And they are going to be bringing another perspective to our Reimagining Nature exhibit, one that is a lot closer to home as they explore the ways that Florida nature gets imagined and reimagined at the Florida Botanical Gardens, especially through their current collaboration. So I'm excited about that. But before we get to that talk, I would like to share just a few announcements with you. Please, join me in thanking the City of St. Petersburg for their continued sponsorship of Coffee with the Curator and other programs here at the museum. And of course, a special thanks to our members who make this program and others possible. And as you probably know, many of you have spoken to our wonderful membership manager, Megan, and we're always looking for ways that we can give additional thanks to our members. And so I'm very happy to be able to share a special member announcement today. It's a new offer for members. It is half off of the Dalí Alive 360 on Wednesdays, and it starts today. So if you wanted to do that, so starting today, Dalí Museum members will receive half off Dalí Alive 360 on Wednesdays. And you can get this offer on site just to go up to the front desk. You can take advantage of it today, show your membership card, and receive half off the next showtime if you're interested in seeing it. If you've never seen it, be a good time. So thank you, members. We appreciate you. And of course, for our exhibition supporters, as you know, we depend on sponsors and supporters to help bring many of these amazing exhibits to you. And I'm very happy to thank our Keepers of the Collection, annual fund donors, the Dalí Board of Trustees, the Guild at the Dalí, and our museum members for this specific exhibit, Reimagining Nature, and of course, our hotel partner, Tradewind Islands Resort. Now, you of course can visit our website, thedalí.org, for more information about our programming, including, I always like to share with you some of the events that we have coming up. So tomorrow, if you are not lectured out or natured out after this morning, you can join Dr. David Barry for a lecture on reimagining nature at Selby Gardens. Selby Gardens works with the same space for each of their art exhibits, but they are able to come up with new ways to interpret that space as they're trying to reflect the different artists that they're showcasing. So that should be a really interesting lecture. This Friday, of course, we have our Dome Night, Dalí Alive 360. On Wednesday of the coming week, you can join us for Art and Meditation at the Dalí. Can I get a show of hands? Has anybody been to Art and Meditation? You're missing something. I can tell you about it, absolutely. So we invite, I have an amazing partner. His name is Scenic, and he is a very practiced meditation leader. And we use a piece of art, customarily something that's related to either our permanent collection or the special exhibition. And that art is used as a push-off point for leading a meditation. And he rotates through different meditation styles. And it's a really great way to pass an hour if you're interested in leaving feeling a lot more centered and a lot more mindful. So please join us. And we also have another program that's coming back from summer hiatus, in addition to art and meditation, is our Poetry at the Dalí. And we're really excited to have poetry back next week. So if you can join us for that. On Sunday of the following week, yoga at the Dalí and our Sensory Friendly Sunday. If you have any extended family or friends that would benefit from a sensory-friendly environment, please be sure to share that opportunity with them. We do that once a quarter. Our workshop nature plate painting is sold out, and I put that, I can't say FOMO because it's already missed. So I guess it's YAMO, you already missed out. But that's just to show you, you should be on our website checking our events. And of course, Thursday, September 19th, we're gonna have our Surreal Nights at the Dalí. And this Surreal Nights falls during Hispanic Heritage Month. And we're very excited not only to welcome in a DJ who's gonna be spinning some Latin tunes, but I'm also really excited that we're gonna be partnering with Lalo, which is a Mexican-owned, Mexican-grown tequila brand. And they're going to be in here offering some amazing drinks for us. And then on Saturday, the 21st, we of course have Arts Alive. And remember, that is free admission for Pinellas residents. Another way that we like to thank the people in our community. On the 24th, we have a workshop, Botanical Printmaking with Boyd Hill. And then on the 26th, to round out what is a full calendar, I think, for September, we are going to have a final lecture for the month. And Dr. Leslie Wolf is a really amazing art historian who teaches at the University of Tampa. And one of her areas of expertise is around food and art. And she's going to give a lecture that talks about plate aesthetics. And I think it'll be a really interesting intersection with the Reimagining Nature exhibit. So please be ready to join us for that. And then, of course, for our October Coffee with the Curator, please be sure to come back and join us for Dr. Alex Lenoble's talk on André Breton and the Surrealist Manifesto in celebration of, it will be actually, October is the 100-year anniversary of the publication of Breton's original Surrealist Manifesto. So it'll be a really amazing opportunity. So now, please, let me introduce our amazing and accomplished guest speakers. First, we are going to be welcoming Emily Goot, who's the Executive Director of the Florida Botanical Gardens Foundation. A Pinellas County native, not many of those, Florida natives, right? We all make our way here from other places, but a Pinellas County native, Emily has a background in marketing and communications and a passion for bringing the foundation's mission to life. And that mission is to create an environment at the Florida Botanical Gardens for the community to come together for education, inspiration, and enjoyment. And Beth Gelman will be our fellow Coffee with the Curator speaker. And Beth is the Senior Director of Arts and Cultural Programming for Creative Pinellas. Beth spent decades as an artist and arts educator before transitioning into the museum world. Trained by MoMA's Philip Yenawine, and if you are a nerd like me, that's super exciting, because Philip Yenawine is the inventor of an inquiry-based museum strategy for looking at art called visual thinking strategies. And to be trained by Philip, that's like the OG. Gelman remains passionate about using the arts to promote critical thinking and a deeper understanding of challenging and sensitive topics. Please join me in welcoming these two amazing guest speakers.
Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing today? Doing good this morning? My name is Emily Goot, Executive Director of the Florida Botanical Gardens Foundation. I will start with a little bit of history about the Florida Botanical Gardens because I already heard someone say, "Where is that?" And that happens a lot. I would love, just for a quick show of hands, like who all has been to the gardens before? Okay, that's pretty good. That was better than I was expecting. We do hear that a lot. I mean, we're kind of known as a hidden gem, and that's something we're trying to break out of. We are a gem, but we don't want to be hidden. So we want to make sure we get you out there soon to see the gardens. So a little bit about us. We are located in Largo, Florida, so we're mid-county. We're right off of Ulmerton Road and Walsingham Road, right on the way to Indian Rocks Beach area. We are a fairly young botanical garden. We're celebrating our 25th anniversary next year. So we opened in December of 2000 and actually started with the University of Florida's Institute of Food and Agricultural Services, the UF-IFAS Extension Services, which is still on our site. A lot of people know that. You can bring your plants into their help desk and say, help me with this, I don't know. What do I do? And they're so wonderful. They're a wealth of knowledge, our master gardeners on site. So it started with them, actually. They had already been growing kind of a botanical garden area at Walsingham Park, and they were offered an opportunity from the county, from Pinellas County, to bring a botanical garden to the public. So they were very excited, and they took that opportunity in the late 90s. And actually, we found a master plan recently from that project, and it was titled the Pinellas County Botanical Learning Center. So we thought, wow, this is so on brand with us right now. We're always still trying to have education at our core. I think that is something that stands us apart from some other botanical gardens in the area. We have that education background, and it's still a place you can come and really learn what you can do in your own home garden. Especially like Kim said, there aren't a lot of Florida native people. And so to come and see Florida native species, to come and see Florida friendly species, and, oh, I can plant that at home when I get back, that's something that I think is invaluable to the public. So we are in total 150 acres. I say that, but only so much of that is formal garden, and that actually includes Heritage Village, is our campus partner, and Creative Pinellas, our other campus partner. So we have a bunch of nature trails on site, natural areas. They were actually a part of the Preservation 2000, which I think now is called Florida Forever. So that was a parcel of land that was included in one of the largest public land acquisitions, I think, in the country. Something like 10 million acres total was preserved, and we were a part of that. So that was something that is exciting. And it's still preserved today, so you can walk those natural areas and see, untouched Florida. But we also have some formal gardens on site. We have our wedding garden, our herb garden, we have a cactus and succulent garden, tropical fruit garden, palm garden. So there's something for everyone, and it's definitely a cool place to come and spend the day. And I have a little bit of history here. So just to show, I think it's kind of interesting to see. This top photo is an aerial shot of the gardens being built back in 1999. Which actually includes some buildings there that were once the Gulf Coast Museum of Art when we opened and are now Creative Pinellas. And then that is McKay Creek right down the middle, and actually goes all the way through Walsingham Park to the south of us and Ridgecrest Park to the north of us. And actually on the left-hand side, there's the Extension Services building and Heritage Village there too, if anyone's familiar with the area. So it's Walsingham Road down there, and Ulmerton's up on the top left. And then we also have an image which I just always think is really interesting. It was a private residence at one time. Portions were donated to the county to be a part of the gardens. So it was owned by the Shervis family, and this was the homestead on property at the time. We hoped to have saved it. Unfortunately, it's not there any longer, but I know a lot of other botanical gardens like Bach Tower, and I think even Selby sometimes will have like the original homestead. We don't have it here, but I do think it's a really interesting part of our history. And then just kind of a breakdown of who we are as the foundation. We manage the annual programming, we promote the gardens, we do a lot of the fundraising, and we get to do a lot of the fun stuff. We have the events and activities. We have our major annual winter fundraiser, Holiday Lights in the Gardens. So a lot of people are familiar with that, which runs from Thanksgiving to the New Year, and is just all botanical, Christmas lights, holiday lights. So it's a really special event. And then we share some responsibility with Pinellas County Parks and Conservation Resources. They maintain the gardens, they have a horticulturist and park rangers on staff, and they do like the day-to-day projects in the gardens. And then again, this is just our mission. We are committed to creating an environment at the gardens for the community to come together for education, inspiration, and enjoyment. A little more about us, some of our goals and initiatives that we have as a foundation. We work to advance, the continual improvement of the gardens and its collection. We seek ways to diversify and increase some of the visitorship to the gardens and foundation membership, financial support, all of those good things that go into being a nonprofit organization. We aim to provide rich and relevant experiences for education opportunities, information and experiences to focus on environmental stewardship. And last but not least, we champion the gardens. That's our main goal. This is a natural asset that is within Pinellas County, which a lot of people don't realize is, such a bustling metropolis. I mean, you don't always think about it that way, but to have this little botanical oasis, as we say, right in the middle of the county, it's just such a big part of what we want to champion and advocate for. And really, my main theme today is just to talk to you a little bit about interpretation. Our board of directors has a wonderful committee, a faction that is the Interpretive Engagement and Education Committee. And they have done a lot of research on this concept of interpretation, which, I think one of our more frequently referenced is the work of Sam Ham, who is the director of the Center of International Training and Outreach and the professor at the University of Idaho. So the simple, basic definition of interpretation is it's simply an outreach or an approach to communication. But there's also some layers to that, obviously, environmental interpretation as well. And with environmental interpretation, the goal is to translate these complex scientific concepts into layman's terms, into something that you and I can understand, It makes it more enjoyable and it has a more lasting impression on the person if it's something that they can connect to and really understand in an easier way. So obviously, this differs from basic education and formal instruction. It's different from just reciting facts and spewing out information to someone. They aren't going to take that in and really want to be involved in this topic. So ultimately, the goal is for you to convey a message, allow the audience to form that personal connection, and hopefully take that and care about the topic, and hopefully give their time and their energy towards that topic. Obviously, this is really relevant in the time that we're living in when there's so many things to be involved in, so many causes to get behind. We obviously saw a lot with our state, parks. It's something that maybe we all take for granted. We don't really think about, oh, yeah, there's this access to a state park, a city park, a county park. But once you find that point that really resonates with you, then you take that time to give back, to visit, to donate, to do any of those things to get behind the cause. And then it really connects that environmental stewardship, as we like to say. So there's three main outcomes of interpretation. The first being enhancing experiences. I think we all kind of understand that when we come to a museum or a coffee shop or a botanical garden, brewery, restaurant, any kind of these places that we go to spend our time and money. We hope that our experience is enhanced. We hope that we leave having a good impression of the place. But I think the one that's really difficult to get behind and to make a difference in is facilitating appreciation, especially, to make someone not only listen, but to care. I think it's a feat. I think we all visit those places day to day, but unless we form that connection to them and truly care for them, we won't care about them. The other is influencing behavior. And like I said, that is a really, really difficult one, but it is an ultimate outcome of interpretation. We want them to make a difference, to have, investment in this place. Especially with the botanical gardens, we're open every day. We're open 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're free to enjoy. And we want to bring that to the community for them to have this place to enjoy it, But unless they come in through our gates, and there's not someone necessarily there greeting them or giving them a map or doing those extra things that takes it that extra mile, they're just going to have the experience that they're going to have. And we have no influence over that. We have no way of knowing how they've come out of that. So that's something that, as the foundation, we've put a lot of research into. How can we do this? How can we make a difference without, maybe feeling like we're lecturing someone or teaching them something. I think that is the hard part, is letting them feel like they're enjoying themselves, it's relevant information, but it's still making a difference in them. So it can be, an easy place to interpret. It's a beautiful place. Obviously, Florida's environment is something that is so unique. There are so many botanical specimens on our property that most people don't realize they can be growing at home, or that they can grow in this tropical climate. So that's something that we have a enjoyable amount of success bringing to the public. The three basic forms of interpretation are the interpreter, interpretive encounter, and the interpretive product. So essentially, the interpreter would be your docent, your gallerist, your volunteer, your employee, those people who are going to bring that interpretation to the public, to the audience. The interpretive encounter is a guest walking through the gallery, viewing a display, reading the signage, or one of the docents leading a tour of a particular part of the gallery, of the garden. It can even be one of the guests going into the gift shop, visiting with the volunteer there, having an experience amongst them, learning more about the place. The interpretive product refers to the product that is before it is shared with the audience. So for instance, audio equipment for an audio tour, or a mobile app created by the gallery or the garden. We've had the wonderful opportunity to provide a variety of interpretation through art with our partnership with Creative Pinellas. We were recently the nonprofit partner for an exhibit grant for the Flora and Fauna art exhibit. So this was such a wonderful thing to be a part of. It included 2 public events, signage in the garden, a scavenger hunt activity, and field trips to the gardens. So this was something that we definitely wanted to get behind as another way of educating the public and getting them to the botanical gardens, but also enhancing their experience. Like I said, the Plain Art Day was the first one that we did. It was open to the public, and as well as artists, but I think it was something really fun to see people come out at no cost, and we even provided materials, and essentially Plain Air is just making art outside, making art in front of the botanical gardens, in front of the flowers, getting to see what people choose to interpret and choose to bring to life in their artistic expression was really rewarding. And we had families as part of that too. It was all ages. So it's not only adults, it's children in our Majid Discovery Garden, our brand new children's garden. It was just so exciting to see people interact with their family members, with other people, so get them out in the gardens and see what they want to create. Another one was the Found Objects workshop, which also had a really cool undertone of conservation. So that was providing materials that are often recycled or thrown away, or household items that people can turn into art. So that was another cool one, and again, all ages, to see what they create and what they find, to express themselves with, was really interesting. The artwork and signage scavenger hunt involved bringing people into the gallery and into the gardens, and that was another fun way of just getting people more involved in the botanical aspect, having to engage with the gardens instead of just walking through. So that was another really fun one. And then the field trips. The field trips were a variety of ages and abilities. We had everyone from the Boys and Girls Club to, Lighthouse on site. So it was just so exciting to see people who may not have normally been able to afford a field trip or pay for an actual tour of the botanical gardens to come out and see the space and see it through the interpretation of their docent, was just really special. So with that being said, I'll bring Beth up to talk to you a little bit more about the art exhibits that we've done and some of the collaborations amongst Botanical Gardens and Creative Pinellas. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. My name is Beth Gelman. I am the Senior Director of Arts and Cultural Programming at Creative Pinellas, which I like to say means I get to do everything that's fun at Creative Pinellas. Creative Pinellas is the arts agency for Pinellas County. So we are an arm of our local government, but we only get funding, a small portion of funding from our local government. And we do, like all nonprofits, we look for donations from the public. And what we do with it is twofold. We are looking to uplift artists and arts organizations, but mostly individual artists in our county. And so you may know about the grants that Creative Pinellas gives out, or awards, I shouldn't say gives out. It's a huge, long, there's a panel that looks at different criteria. And as you can tell by my floundering with that, that is not my area of expertise at Creative Pinellas. But if you know an artist, or if you are an artist, I encourage you to go to creativepinellas.org to check out the opportunities and the resources that are there for artists. What's my expertise? I am in charge of the gallery, and I was invited out a little over 2 years ago to create a strategic vision for the gallery. Creative Pinellas was given by the county the ability to use the administrative office, and by given the opportunity means paying rent to the county to use the administration. It's very reasonable rent. In what Emily talked about was the former Gulf Coast Museum campus. So there was an administration building. At the time they moved in, the gallery was there, but it was being used by the county for storage. So about, I would say 9-10 years ago, Creative Pinellas, for a variety of reasons, was invited into to use the gallery. And so they came in and they cleaned it all up, and it's really a stunning, stunning facility. And if you haven't been there, I encourage you to go visit it, because here is what I know. In the 2 years plus that I've been there, everyone who comes once comes back. So it's a really amazing jewel, and what I like to call the face of Creative Pinellas. You're really able to see a lot of different things there. As Emily mentioned, we share this beautiful campus with the Florida Botanical Gardens and Heritage Village. And so certainly when I got there, I would say more than half of the people who visited the gallery were not expecting to visit a gallery. They came for the gardens, or they came for Heritage Village, and they found this free, because everything we do is free for the public, free opportunity to come in. There's air conditioning. And so they would come on in, and often I was finding this was the very first arts experience that these people had had, formal arts experience, because of course we can walk around and see murals and all that. And so I come from education, as Kim mentioned, and so it was really exciting to understand that we were the first point of contact. And Emily mentioned, I wrote it down, finding those points that resonate with you, finding those connections, enhancing experience, facilitating appreciation, influencing behavior. And so the two things that we found, or several things that we found have happened over the last few years, is that we have more than, I think we have tripled the amount of people that are coming. We have people who come in, go to our gallery hosts and ask where else they can see art in Pinellas County, which is unbelievable. And we are a gallery, which means that the majority of artists who show in the gallery, their work is for sale. And over last year to this year, we've increased sales 400%. I know, that is applause. And I wish I could say it's because of me. I am just one of the cogs in the machine. what I will say is we have an incredible, very small team at Creative Pinellas, and especially our PR and marketing staff has done just an amazing job of making people aware of Creative Pinellas. And just like Emily says, we don't want to be a hidden jewel. We want to be a jewel. And certainly it's amazing to be able to come out and see what is on that campus. All right, so now, yay, we're gonna look at pictures. So when I got to Creative Pinellas, it was apparent that a lot of the artists that were being shown there, nature was really important to them, right? And these are a couple pictures. This is Jennifer Chandley, and there's a little a close-up of one of the flowers. This is going to be a good speech, you can tell. There's another piece up there in the left corner by Elizabeth Baranis. She's got a small show that's happening at the Morean, so her work is really marvelous, and Jennifer's as well. But you can see that there's something about nature, and as I was looking around at the artists here, it's apparent that nature holds such an important point of orientation for our artists in this area. And how could it not, right? I walk out of my doors every morning and I thank God that I live in this beautiful place, especially in February because I'm from Chicago. So, but it is everywhere we go, the colors are so vivid, it's really beautiful. And so we're seeing all this. And so one of the things I really was thinking about as we put the vision together for the gallery is the role of bridge that art can play, the role of a bridge. And so in the campus, we see ourselves as a bridge between nature and history with the other two attractions. Hopefully, because we're mid-county, we'll become a bridge between the North and the South County, that people will cross Ulmerton Road to go and to see things. And we'll be able to showcase to people in North County what's happening down here, this lively art scene, and for people who live down here to showcase the amazing art that's happening in the North County. It's really, we invite you up. Anyway, so as we started to do things more methodically, I was introduced to a woman whose name is Yolanda Sanchez. I was saying there's two parts of our mission. One is to uplift the artists, right, of Pinellas County, but the other is to uplift our community. And that means showcasing not only the artists, the best of the best in our community, but the best of the best that we can find, and giving people accessible, free art experiences. So these are three works from Yolanda Sanchez, who works in a number of different media, as you can see, and she works in both painting and she works with fabric. She does all these different really fascinating fabric ideas, and so the idea was to create a garden inside the gallery. From there, we started looking. These are pictures from it was called Imagine Blackness. And I bullied these people into creating an art show. They had been looking at, it's just gone out of my head, their names. I will shout it out in the middle of this presentation. But it's a sociologist and her husband, who was an artist, and creating a different thought about the future of being Black. So many of the images around the Black experiences are difficult images. And so how to reimagine a positive future without having positive images. And what was so fascinating as they were working on this was how nature really played such an amazing purpose in the artwork. Oh, where's my friend who did this? Am I able to go online, Kim? Am I able to showcase something that's online? If not, I'll talk about it, and I will direct you all to go online and look him up. But this was an exhibition by Mikhail Manchin. It was a really creative artist who uses coding as an artistic medium. And what he was creating was a way to look at what was happening outside the gallery in terms of wind speed. And there's a creek that goes down the middle of it, which I just found out was a man-made creek. That creek was not there. It's so beautiful. It's been there for 25 years. It's now a legit creek with an alligator and everything. But so he had these instruments that were measuring all this, and through, you can see panels on the floor, and I'm going to show you, though the pictures are not great. You can see these little black panels, and when the wind would come through, there would be lights that would show, and a sound, like a little clicking, click, 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 that would kind of trace the sound of the wind through the gallery. And then on right here, you can see there were these kind of computer images where each of the points of data would show up so you could see what was happening. If we can end up getting online, I'll show it to you at the end. It was super cool. So now this is what we first partnered with Emily and the Botanic Gardens. This is a show called Flora and Fauna. They were having an exhibition in the gallery, and then they also received a grant to interact with the Florida Botanical Gardens. And so what was fascinating is there were 5 artists from the United States and from Cuba, and they all looked at nature differently. So this is our friend Gelman, who organized the exhibition, and you can see how he really was looking at the nature around us in what he refers to in a very trippy manner. So, but that is the way he kind of looks at the world. It's beautiful, and he references a lot of imagery and past, like 60s and forward imagery in there. One of the other artists was Leslie Hyatt, who does very much more traditional portrayals of nature. We have, I've lost their names here, and my phone will not turn on. But these are different artists who are part of the show who were showcasing their work. And it was exciting. I think it's exciting not only for the activities that were being done in the Florida Botanical Gardens, but also because people came in and there was always something in these kind of group shows that you can make that connection with. As a visitor, you really like it and pushes your button. And I think once you stop, what we've seen is that once people stop to look at one artwork, they tend to then slow down and look at others. So they might have walked by these, I think, incredibly beautiful, and I wish you could see in these photographs, they are, the media that was used was like rough, and it almost came out 3D. They tend to stop and look at that. So that was fun. We had a lot of fun, not only in the gallery, not only in the gardens, but in the gallery. We had and continue to have, I mean, we've had a lot of activities. We do have an education room. Of course we do. I come from education. So we have an education room where people can, of all ages, I call it the drawing room. It's my joke. And so people come in and they can either just draw or paint, but we have little activities often ones that kick them out of the gallery to wander into the garden. But with this, we really had a lot of activities that bounced us back and forth from the gallery to the botanical gardens and then back again. We have a really fascinating show in there, which is also a partner show with the Florida Botanical Gardens, which is called Threads of Nature. And this is all artwork that has been inspired by the Florida Botanical Gardens, and this was created by the Tampa Bay Surface Design Guilds. And you might ask, as I did, what is surface design? And surface design is exactly what you think it is. It's taking something on the surface, making it more beautiful. And so the artwork is fascinating. So everything from this one on our right is called What You Might See at the Florida Botanical Gardens, to this is the logo of the Florida Botanical Gardens, and if you walk through it, you will see mosaics, and so here you see it in quilt form, which is beautiful. Here are some other different inspirations from the garden, from quilts to, you can see this is Elizabeth Neely up here on top. I just took a small portion of it because really the amount of detail that's in all of this, and it's called the Tampa Bay Surface Design Guild, but many of its members have been shown internationally. There's a quilt there that the State Department actually sent out around the world because it is extraordinary. Down here at the bottom right is something called thread painting. And if you come for no other reason, you need to come and to see these in person because pictures just don't do it any justice. I was going to editorialize. And some of it is clothing and everything from a simple dress to these are so hilarious. This is called, in the middle, it's called My Head's a Buzzin'. And these are individual pins that are meant to be sold, and we've sold quite a few of them at the gallery. And then this is this beautiful quilt-like dress where, again, the incredible detail. If you have always been kind of a painting guy or gal, I really invite you to see this differently. Here are, and some are really out there. This is called Between the Cobblestones. So this is looking at it sort of from a very biological perspective. And then the one on the left is called Lilith. I was here first. So it's the range, I'm just giving you a tiny range of what you will see there. And then the whole idea with the Surface Design Guild is that they are taking, again, nature, what is outside, and bringing it inside in this beautiful manner. And so part of the installation, I lost my mind and I created like a bedroom, a room of what it would look like if you actually did live with that all the time. So we also have, this is so fun, we also are hosting right now the 53rd Annual Florida Watercolor Arts. So I don't know what the full title of it is. But we have, they're a state show, and they are, they had 600 different artists who each year applied, and they chose the best 100 or 103. And so this is just kind of a little dollop of what you will see there, from very clear and a traditional, a kind of transparent watercolor, to over on the left, a use of watercolor, what they call watercolor media now. And then I included the alligator just because he's my favorite. But there is everything from scenes, city scenes, to you name it. There is something, once again, it's one of those things where you walk in. Our whole goal has been, how do we give, again, these excellent artistic experiences to the people who walk in, and a wide variety of experiences. So we are getting ready for November 9th. We have what has traditionally been called our Arts Annual. For the past 7 years, we've invited grantees, artist grantees, to participate in a show at the gallery. This year, as part of our kind of opening up, both of and making things more accessible for artists, not only with our funding, but with opportunities, we are having an open call for professional artists in Pinellas County. We opened it up 2 days ago. We have 40 applications. So it should be really an amazing, amazing show, because we will really have the best of the best. We are also doing something new this year, another new thing this year. We have new leadership, that's what I should say, that began in January with Margaret Murray coming on as CEO, and she's really terrific. She comes from the museum world. She shares my desire for excellence in everything that we do, and really has such amazing ideas and a vision of how to move Creative Pinellas forward in our community and in our beautiful Pinewood Cultural Park, where we live with the Botanical Gardens and Heritage Village. So as we move forward, we are also having a pop-up shop. It's our first pop-up shop where we will have quality artwork for sale for $100 or less. And we have a call for that, so it'll be a little gift shop in there. And it aligns with the Florida Botanical Gardens Holiday Lights, which seriously, if you have not been up there to see holiday lights, you are missing the best holiday lights show in this area. Honestly, there are plenty of disappointing holiday lights shows in this area. This is not one of them. This is worth seeing. So where are we going from here? Some of you may be familiar through his murals, or you've seen him, Jabari Reed Dopp, who is AKA iBombs. And he has a really interesting take on nature and spirituality. And we started talking about urban gardens, but part of, he is coming in there for next year. We're talking about, what is a gallery? What can we do inside a gallery? And so his work will be part, but not all, of everything that will be happening in 2 or 3 of our galleries. We will also be featuring at the beginning of the year, it has nothing to do with nature, but I love her work. Her name is Samantha Motter, and the show is called Source of All Hair, Wearer of Socks. And we will be right at the beginning of the year showcasing the 50th anniversary of, I think it's the Florida Miniatures Society, and they have these very tiny little paintings, and Sam's work is huge. So it should be a great juxtaposition. I really encourage you all to come. We need your help as Creative Pinellas to get the word out about all that Creative Pinellas is trying to do. We really want to help uplift our art scene here throughout the county, our individual artists, and our partners, of course, which are all of the arts organizations throughout Pinellas County. But we do need your help and your advocacy. And so if you'd like to get involved, we can pay nothing. But if you'd like to get involved, we would love to have your support, and I'm sure I'm echoing that for Emily as well. If you've always wanted to get your hands dirty, there are opportunities for that. So thank you so much. I'm so incredibly grateful. Emily, was there anything you wanted to add? Okay, great, thank you. This has been lots of fun. I hope you will come. We're really looking for feedback, and some ideas as we move forward. This is your arts organization. This is your gallery. So please talk to us. We'd love it. Right. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Beth. And for our guests who would like to stay for a Q&A, we do have a microphone that we can pass around so that everybody in the theater and those streaming online can hear you for any questions and answers from Beth or Emily.
Good time to look up Imagine Blackness.
Do we have any questions at this time?
I have been many years to the Christmas lights, which are amazing. But my question about Heritage Village is, do you still have all the students come and dress up and act and perform in the gazebo and do all that too?
They have, they put a hold on their junior docents, I think is what you're talking about, the junior docents, which was, all ages. I think they're bringing it back, though. Okay. They have a new director of education, Hannah Hayes, who came on earlier this year, so I imagine they're going to bring that back. I know that was so cute. They recently started doing more demonstration work, working with the blacksmiths and those groups, so I imagine they'll bring it back.
But my son is 45, and he was there at
Heritage
Village,
cool
dressed up, doing a dance in the gazebo many years ago. So the whole place is amazing, and all three things together.
Oh, thank you.
And I'm so glad you came to talk about it, because I thought now I got to remember to go there again.
I know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So maybe there could be an alumni and junior docent program.
I love that.
Here we have another question right here.
Yeah. I was asking, I'd like to ask, do you have any programs for exchange students from abroad?
I'm sorry.
We don't have anything at this time. I'm not sure if UF-IFAS might have something like that available. Like I said, they're another campus partner, and they are a wealth of resources, so it might be something through University of Florida that they would have something. We don't offer anything at this time.
Okay.
But,
all right. Thanks.
Wait, I did want to say Imagine Blackness. Those are the Freemans. That's Dr. Elizabeth Freeman at USF and MacArthur Freeman, who is her husband and a spectacular artist.
Are there plants for sale at the Botanical Garden as well?
say again?
Are there plants for sale?
We don't have plants in our gift shop necessarily, but we do host plant sales. So the Florida West Coast Orchid Society often has a plant sale. They have one on November 9th. And then we have our gift and plant sale on December 14th this year. So it goes hand in hand with the lights. So you can shop during the day, or you can come at night and shop. It's a night market too. So we try to have local vendors at that.
Yeah. Nice. So that was November 9th and December 14th.
Correct.
And we have another question over here.
January 4th. Oh, the plants.
Yeah.
My question is that in watching how you are trying to establish at a communal level and in a cooperative level, and interesting to me, this communication level between the Dalí show and all of these shows that at the moment I believe is an archetype of the need for the garden to heal the culture. And I am in that show, Threads of Nature, okay? And my piece is a mahout tree, which is huge, 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 huge in the garden and in the thing.
Yeah.
But my question would be, why not expand to include those artists who not only are articulate in the particular production of something beautiful representing nature, but who utilize nature and art as a vehicle for creating a vision of society or examining the issues of society. Okay? And I
I'm
would
writing it down.
encourage you to, I mean, in every show, there's a few, that are gifted to put out their philosophy or their work, a couple of whom you mentioned, so that it's not just seeing the flowers and hoping you have an experience, or seeing the artist who represents the flowers and hoping you will have an experience, but adding that dimension of dialogue, which is what the museum is trying to do in relationship to their show, to take that as a model, which I think they mean it to be, and do that with your show so that there would be an opportunity to get that expansion of the show you put together, which is fabulous. It's a fabulous show. Okay, it's a fabulous show. There are pieces in there that are very unique and really take far the whole question of how is the garden and growing things and being in nature, which is the contemporary archetype right now. There's more to explore. I applaud you.
Thank you. And her piece is beautiful. You should come just to see it. It's extraordinary.
Do we have any more questions or comments at this time? Then how about another hand for Beth and Emily?
Thank you so much.